Yesterday, someone's truck being towed turned into some Grand Theft Auto 6 footage in real life. This gentleman immediately got himself 5 stars after losing his temper with his truck being towed, and it was chaotic. I was gonna wait for him to get caught before talking about this, because I wanted to hear what he had to say about all of this hoopla. Like, I don't know why in my stupid little tiny reptile brain, I was under the impression that he'd give some kind of press conference about it. Like, listen, I may have blown a gasket, I was a little off my gourd with this one, and then go into detail about what he thought he would accomplish with this. But obviously, that's not going to happen, and somehow he still hasn't been caught, despite him being captured on 3 separate videos, all of which we're going to go over. We have damn near a 360-degree video that we can put together of this Grand Theft Auto moment. It's fucking incredible here.
Get that fucking truck down! I'm warning you, motherfucker! Get the fuck away from this truck! Get the fuck out of here!
His precious truck has now become his battering ram. It's like the scene out of Fast and Furious 5 with the vault trailing behind Dominic Toretto and Paul Walker. This dude is just annihilating the entire city block with his precious truck that he went to such lengths to try and protect. Now he's just racking up crimes here like he's trying to catch them all like Pokemon. So he is hitting every single parked car in the vicinity. His truck has definitely seen better days. He is destroying not only his property, but everyone's property around there. It kind of reminds me of Killdozer from many years ago, where that guy got really upset and then decided to modify a bulldozer, basically turning it into a fucking Gundam. He put like giant cement walls on it, turned it into an armored vehicle, and just went on a rampage causing carnage. This guy's kind of doing the same thing here. He's like a diet inbred Killdozer here with the tow truck. He just potato sacked his own truck here. It's like Super Mario 64 where you swing Bowser around. He just did that with his truck. It unhooked and just flew right off, and then the guy just continues to make a getaway in the tow truck. So fundamentally what happened is, his truck was being towed. He then steals the tow truck to try and keep his truck. He loses his truck in the process and totals it as well, and then just steals the tow truck. And that's the entire series of events. He's now committed multiple crimes. What a fucking lunatic. Also, the sound that it made when the truck fell off, it was like a bomb going off in there. Speaking of a bomb going off, if you want a flavor bomb in your mouth, get some goof juice. Gamersupps.gg/moist. There's a special going on right now. If you use code MOIST, you get free shipping on any order anywhere in the world.
You can't put your hand on that man!
I opened this window! I said, oh my God! Yo! Oh, that dude is nuts. Yo! Bro! Oh my God! Oh my God! Yo! What the fuck? Yo! Oh, shit.
Here's a different vantage point here. So now we're looking down on the action here. We got the top-down camera from the Jumbotron. So you can see this from an eagle eye perspective. When you see it from up here, you can see that he hits every single car down that line. So since the door's hanging off, it's hitting every single mirror. And in the next video, you're gonna see he basically erases every mirror. It goes through that like a sports player coming out of the tunnel giving fans high fives on the way through. That is his car door to every mirror there, just slapping them. It's impressive how much damage he was able to cause in such a short period of time. Now, I get being upset about having your car towed. last time I got towed, it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And it ended up with me at the tow truck company looking like a bumbling fucking moron, where I was so all over the place from the headache of trying to figure out which of the 50 different tow truck companies towed my vehicle, because there was no indication on which one it could have been. So it was a big game of cat and mouse. It was frustrating. I get there and I asked them if they have my keys. And the guy looked at me like I was some kind of extraterrestrial. He said, "What do you mean, do we have your keys?" "No, you should have your keys. Like, we didn't drive your car away, dummy. You should still have those. We towed it." And it didn't register with me. I was like, "What do you mean you don't have my keys? Who took my keys then?" Like, I couldn't process it. So eventually I pieced it together. And then when I was signing the paperwork, he needed the license. And when I pulled the license out of my wallet, I had lost control of it, and I ended up flicking it like Gambit, flicking one of his cards as a weapon at the guy. So I ended up like throwing my license at this dude. He probably took it as extremely disrespectful, but it was an accident. It's not like I was mad at them. They're just doing their job. It was just like a really frustrating series of events, and I have no doubt that guy probably thought I was drunk driving that car out of there. But yeah, the point I'm making is I would rather go through that experience 1,000 times before I would ever think to do what this absolute fucking imbecile did here.
Dude, put my fucking truck down now. Warning, put this fucking truck down. Get the fuck out of here. Get down, you motherfucker. Put the truck down. Put the truck down.
We get such a clear look at skinny Goldberg here. So he's rolling up, bald as shit, angry as shit, and he starts to tussle with the guy towing his truck. Apparently what was happening before this is he was actually in the truck while it was being towed, and he started spinning his tires on it, so he was immediately escalating everything here, and then it culminates to him obviously stealing the tow truck. It was a bad day to be a side mirror. That was an apocalypse for side mirrors. There was only one survivor that I could count before he like whipped it into the other vehicles there. And then of course he just tosses it to the side right there, having it fall over. And he doesn't stop or anything. He just keeps going. I wonder if he even knew that he had lost his truck back there. He was probably so angry and fuming that he didn't even register that he just left his truck behind. The whole reason for his crime spree. What's baffling to me is this guy has not been arrested yet. So, according to NYPD, there have been no developments since the incident, but they did say that the fleeing maniac hit a car that had someone in it, and that person ended up at a medical center. Like, they know who this guy is. The failure to make an arrest is stunning. This is coming from the article, and I agree with whoever's writing the article here that it is stunning he's not arrested for this. The truck that was being towed has a long record of violations, 13 school zone speed camera violations, as well as multiple parking tickets, and owes $1,313 in fines, and subject to towing because it had more than 350 in unpaid tickets. I just don't understand why they're not doing anything about this. He is a menace, and they know exactly who he is, and they're not doing anything. Why? But I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya. Jimmy Kimmel's audience is asking him to apologize for Knocked Loose because it scared them. That's amazing. Wait, really? Hold on, I gotta see that for myself. I knew Knocked Loose was going on Kimmel, which I thought was a weird fit in the first place. But if the audience is demanding an apology, that's spectacular. Jimmy Kimmel fans ask for formal apology after inviting heavy metal band Knocked Loose to perform. Oh, Poppy was there too. Jimmy Kimmel invited Knocked Loose and Poppy onto stage for his live show. They're known for their scream-like vocals and grungy guitar riffs. Best-known song, Counting Worms, gained nearly 40 million streams on Spotify despite only containing one actual verse of lyrics. Knocked Loose is fun. I like Knocked Loose. Good lord, this website's not even loading because of all the ads it's trying to fucking shove down my throat. His normal viewers and often top commenters on Facebook were quick to diss the choice. One wrote, "You know, I was trying to enjoy the program. Well, that's your first problem. You were trying to enjoy a program. Why would you turn on Jimmy Kimmel for that?" You are already doomed from the start. I was sitting on the couch with my son, who is an adolescent. I don't know why he's screaming that. Waiting to see the musical guest because we like nice music the show usually books. By the third or fourth junt from the guitars, my son was in tears. What kind of fucking word is that? Junt? Like gent? We bringing gent back? Man's out here just dropping new nomenclature here like a gadoosh. I like it. He doesn't like scary things, and quite frankly, I think the Kimmel show and its staff should make a formal apology. Man, your son needs to grow the fuck up. If guitar riffs are scaring him, as an adolescent, come on. You're setting that kid up for failure. Man's gonna cry anytime there's a beautiful sunset. Oh wow, wait. They kind of went hard for this performance. They gave him pyrotechnics? Shooting flames? It's like the intro to Triple X here with Rammstein. And they're complaining about this? It's probably the most excitement Jimmy Kimmel viewers have ever seen. If I have to read the lyrics, I'll just read them and not listen to someone yell them. Huh? What the fuck? That wasn't singing. Anyone can yell lyrics and get paid. This what not enjoyable. And you can't understand more than 5% of the lyrics. Moshing doesn't not equal dancing. Who wrote this? Go back to 3rd grade. They were moshing in the pit too at Kimmel. I gotta see this performance actually. Be the first time I look at a Kimmel segment in years. Oh my, okay, I gotta show you a still from this. Look at this shit. Moshing at the Jimmy Kimmel show? Why I never... What? Wow. Imagine being so joyless that you just can't appreciate the fun. Even if you don't like the music. Like, if this was country, I don't like country music very much, I'd still be like, ah, they're having a good time. I don't need an apology from Jimmy Kimmel. At least it's not James Corden. Oh, James Corden would never. James Corden himself would probably go into cardiac arrest if Knock Loose hit a single chug on the guitar. That man couldn't take it. Have you heard of Jeffrey Lash, the man who convinced his wife he was a shape-shifting super soldier and turned her house into a super lair? It's cool they brought Poppy, too, with Knocked Loose. This concert actually looks like it went hard. On Jimmy Kimmel, of all places. How do I sing along with this? Lol. Sounds just like a screaming frenzy to me. Actually starting to hurt my ears. People who listen to this have no room to complain about crying babies or screaming 2-year-olds taking a tantrum. Haha. Unreal. They call this music, Jimmy? I'm gonna go to the Facebook page myself. These sound so good. Actually, most of the comments are pretty positive. Well, not really. Never mind. The first 3 were positive. The rest are people mad. Pretty cool. I will say, I think it'd be amazing if Jimmy Kimmel actually did come out, like, tears in his eyes, issuing an apology for scaring his viewers by putting Knocked Loose and Poppy on. That would be truly fantastic. You see that? Did you hear about the California man who tried to smuggle 71 pounds of meth using a cow onesie? Yeah, I read them earlier today, actually. It was pretty cool. He's arrested at the Los Angeles International Airport after he allegedly tried to check 2 suitcases filled with clothing soaked in methamphetamine, including a cow pajama onesie. Prosecutors have indicted Raj Matharu with 1 count of possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine. I can't believe they caught him. He's free right now on a $10,000 bond, so sleep in fear. Any onesie could be compromised. You hear about the cemetery charging mourners for VIP passes when they want to visit their dead relatives. What? Who owns that cemetery? Nintendo? Yeah, cemetery charges mourners for VIP pass to visit dead relatives to help keep gravesites safe from undesirables. Wow. Wow. The Garden of Remembrance located in the town of Stoke-on-Trent. That's the name of a town, Stoke-on-Trent? That sounds like an insult. That sounds like something you would say to someone during an argument. Fuck you. Well, Stoke-on-Trent, John. It says those who don't purchase a pass will only be able to enter the cemetery during office hours. From January 2025, the site will be protected by electric gates. The gates at the front of the site will open and close automatically at set times. Fuck me, it's like breaking into Area 51 just to visit a dead relative. The entrance to the cemetery... I keep saying cemetery. The entrance to the cemetery will be via VIP pass, making the site secure for our staff, families, and visitors. Please ensure you have your pass in good time for the new year. Okay, it claims that it costs 10 euros, approximately 12 bucks per pass for access to the Rose Garden, and $6 per pass to visit a grave. It's unclear whether it's a one-off fee or whether pass holders will be charged that amount each time they enter. Cool. The Disney Pass model, but for grave sites. That's awesome. That's just what we needed. Fucking microtransaction battle passes for cemeteries. Love it, love it. You gotta get your cemetery subscription in. Otherwise, you're not leaving flowers for Mima, I'll tell you that much. Kids, we bought a season pass to visit your grandma. Separate notice says non-VIP pass holders can still enter the grounds from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Oh, so it still has some public access. Please note there will be no access at the weekend, on bank holidays, or any other dates when the office is closed. Thanks for your cooperation. Now I need to pay a membership fee to visit my dad's grave, Jode Bourne, whose father, Mark Bourne, is buried in the grounds, wrote on Facebook. This is an absolute disgrace. Shame on you, Garden of Remembrance. This gravesite is absolutely beautiful. What? Look at this. That's a premium pass holder right there. Sounds like EA's behind it. Wait for the holiday season pass. It's gonna be big. That's true. Surge pricing model. Is that even legal? I guess they own the land. The owner, Jason Taft, hit back telling a local newspaper that he spent approximately $10,000 on security and tech upgrades to keep it safe. VIP passes are believed to work as key cards that will open gates that provide access to the site. There's 1,300 graves there, and we could not send that many keys out, so people can come and get a card if they want one. We're not locking people out, and this gives them access till 9 p.m. when we would normally be closed. People can know it's safe when they're visiting, and they'll be safe from undesirables breaking in now. The key cards are not coming into force until January 1st because people wouldn't be happy if we did it before Christmas. They're not gonna be happy in general, man. He handed out 90 free passes to the most vulnerable members of the community who have relatives buried there. What a hero. Pay to win cemetery experience, yeah. This is an extremely expensive adventure where you go to this company, they send you down in a submersible to explore and go through the Titanic. I think it's like $250,000 per person per seat or whatever. And they've lost contact with the submersible now. So it's been a scramble to try and like locate it, find them, and get them out. Now, one other thing that I think is important that we go into this with the knowledge of is this CEO sounds like a fucking maniac. Now, I do recognize that he is reportedly on this vessel as it's missing, so there is potential that he's dead. And it sounds like that's almost entirely his fault. I read this about him earlier. So there were already problems with this submarine, apparently. So in 2018, there was a lawsuit about it being a potential danger to passengers. So there were all kinds of red flags here. And the CEO at some point, I don't know if it's in this article, I haven't read this one. At some point, the CEO said that the safety requirements for the submarine were obscenely strict, complaining that the safety was overbearing. Like he was complaining that things were too safe. So it sounds like he was a corner cutter in order to save a little bottom dollar. Boss of missing Titanic submersible once called his industry obscenely safe. The daredevil inventor is understood to be on board the submersible that lost contact with the surface last week. That is the last person I would want manning my fucking Titanic deep sea adventure. The daredevil inventor. That's such a wild thing to complain about too. The industry being obscenely safe. I can't get over that. But it is a very dire and very serious situation. There is a good chance that they're either dead right now or will be shortly. They can't find them. Last I heard, there are only about 30 hours left on oxygen as of like a couple hours ago. Oh, here we go. Rush said that there have been no injuries in the field for decades, adding, "It's obscenely safe because they all have these regulations, but it also hasn't innovated or grown because they all have these regulations." What the fuck do you mean? Before people complain about it being controlled by a Logitech controller, they almost definitely had backups, and controllers are used for a lot of scientific and military systems such as drones, submarine periscopes because of their ergonomic and intuitive design. The design sucked for many reasons, such as the under-engineered window and lack of escape hatch. That's another thing of prerequisite knowledge here. I saw this all over Twitter, so I had to look this up at least a little bit because so many people were arguing. It was controlled by I think it was a $20 Logitech gamepad, which is apparently industry norm in military equipment and other high-value vessels. That's not uncommon. So that's not a... It's a little goofy to read about, but it's apparently industry standard. Yep, this is from 2 months ago. The US military will fight the next big war with an Xbox-style video game controller, and it's just literally using Xbox controllers. They legitimately use these for very high-tech shit. Why not a PS4 controller? I don't know, brother. You're asking the wrong guy. I also wonder if third-party controllers can give you like a boost if you have like the extra little toggles on the back that used to be illegal in professional Call of Duty. Like little paddle shifters or something. The Xbox controllers have better aim assist. Yeah, I suppose so. While it is bigger than competitors, passengers are required to sit on the floor with limited room to move around. Yeah, that's the scariest part of submarines in general. I think there's almost nowhere more miserable to be in the entire universe than in a fucking submarine. You can't go anywhere. It's very cramped. Much of the interior, the company admits, consists of several pieces of off-the-shelf technology, which it says help to streamline the construction and makes it simple to operate and replace parts in the field. I don't know. To me, that doesn't sound like extremely nice. Like, that wouldn't build confidence for me. I'd like to hear that these parts came directly from, like, the finest forges in Mordor or something. Like, something really strong-sounding as opposed to off-the-shelf. Mr. Rush, speaking to CBS News last year, said piloting the sub shouldn't take a lot of skill. Why? I feel like it absolutely should. There's people's lives at stake there. Like 10,000 leagues under the sea. You should have a very skilled pilot behind the controller of that puppy. Give me a goddamn esports pro or something. Don't just give me anybody. Oh man, God, this is fucking terrifying. OceanGate says it's an experimental vessel and told CBS Travel on board correspondent he had to sign a waiver to accept. It has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. I understand waivers are pretty standard, but the regulatory body thing is actually surprising to me that anyone can build, or any company rather, can build a sub and just take people under the sea without any level of like safety inspection. That's a little surprising. Oh, yikes. Okay. The company explained why the Titan had not been classed by an independent body. Bringing an outside entity up to speed on every innovation before it is put into real-world testing is an anathema to rapid innovation. This guy fucking hates inspectors and safety. Why? Like, oh my god. Yeah, we don't get it inspected or approved by any kind of, knowledgeable people. I said it's good enough, so that's probably enough. Crews searching for the Titan submersible heard banging sounds every 30 minutes, and for 4 hours later, after additional sonar devices were deployed, banging was still heard according to an internal U.S. government memo. It was unclear what the banging was. I mean, it sounds like they're alive. Like, I don't think that banging is Davy Jones or anything. Like, I mean, it sounds like they're probably still alive. Yeah, but if they're freaking out, they're going to be using a lot more oxygen. These are, from what I understand, these are like just rich people, not fucking hardened super soldiers. Of course they're going to be freaking out in the face of death on a submarine at the bottom of the fucking ocean. So I think they're already working under the assumption that they're consuming more oxygen than normal. No, it's just too deep for that. Yeah, like I said, I'm not like a fucking nautical engineer, but I feel like, aren't most of these things like tethered to the ships? Like, I know when you do, what's that deep sea tour? Another rich people thing? I can't remember the name of it. But they have, like, a giant rope that tethers it to that ship. But I guess maybe it doesn't go as deep. It's just not possible at 13,000 feet. Okay, fair enough. How OceanGate built improvised submersible from camping kit and video game controller. Again, the video game controller is kind of industry standard, but what do they mean built from a camping kit?
The minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan.
What the fuck? Those pictures don't do it justice. Oh my god, this looks miserable. Holy shit. And just a single button on board like an elevator. That does not inspire confidence. I want this shit to look like the Starship Enterprise, with 1,000 different ways of controlling it. $250,000 in your crisscross applesauce in like a car trunk. Yeah, there's like a small, like, bathroom area. I read it in the article. So there is like a small place to relieve yourself, but he recommends that you change your diet to reduce the chance of that of you needing to use it. Look at that. What? What? How? I can't believe anyone would go on this. $250,000, I show up and I see this, I'm just leaving. And I'm asking for my money back ASAP. Holy shit. Actual, yeah, like actual just tape and Sharpie here.
These off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
Oh, he's even got nipples on it. What does this even really help with? Why would you even bother putting the nipples on it?
As we'll show you a little later on Sunday morning.
Where things have to be.
I feel like that window at that depth is just an absolute recipe for disaster.
Archaeologist Rob Mather
Again, I'm not an expert. Let me see it here at the bottom.
Look at that, though, how it just kind of emerges out. Yeah.
That thing is like fucking pathetic to look at. I'll just say it. Like, oh my god. Actually, tape and Sharpie, Camping World supplies. Oh my god. The porthole window is rated for 1,300 meters, and they dove to 4,000 meters. Well, you know. Simple miscalculation. Okay. Sunday night, it lost contact with a support ship. About an hour and 45 after submerging. Jesus, so like almost instantly. Because it's like an 8-hour journey. So that happening at an hour 45 is pretty much right off rip. It went tits up immediately. Jim Bellingham, a Johns Hopkins University expert on deep-sea operations, told USA Today there's 3 possible locations for the submersible. One possibility is that it could be floating on the ocean's surface after an electrical failure or some other mishap. Another is that it's drifting in the water column anywhere between the surface and the bottom because it became buoyantly neutral. Or it could be on the sea floor, perhaps tangled with something that won't let it float to the top. The first one is by far the best position, Bellingham said, because even though it would be difficult to spot the 21-foot-long Titan amidst the waves, the Coast Guard is just awesome at this. They have amazing capability to see something pretty small in the ocean. Yeah, I think he's probably right on the money. The best case scenario is that they are floating somewhere out in the surface. Anything else is a little rough. God, that's so fucking terrifying, because if it is actually on the seabed, like, how are they supposed to save it? Like, how are you supposed to rescue them? Like, let's say, so the update from CNN 9 minutes ago was that they heard banging, which I think sounds like good news. It leads me to believe that they might still be alive. So they were hearing, like, banging on the equipment. How are you supposed to save them if they're on the seafloor? 13, like, are you supposed to send another Titan vessel down there? Like, you're gonna, like, put one together with more Camping World equipment? Like, how are you supposed to save them? So even if you do locate them, you can do nothing to really help. A magnet like Breaking Bad. Oh my god, sign this man up to NASA. What if you get a huge magnet and you just start putting it over the ocean and see if it starts bringing them to the top? This man's thinking with galaxy brain. Project Azorian was a U.S. Central Intelligence Agency project to recover a Soviet submarine, a K-129, from the Pacific Ocean floor, using a purpose-built Hughes Glomar Explorer. This just sounds fucking awesome. What? The ship recovered a portion of the K-129, but a mechanical failure in the grapple caused 2/3 of the recovered section to break off during recovery. So it basically worked up until it didn't. Very interesting. So this was fundamentally like a giant crane that would be precisely lowered and lifting it up. So realistically, if we still had the Hughes Glomar Explorer here with this equipment, they could just call that bitch up right now and actually stand a chance if they could locate them. James Cameron about to come out of retirement to rescue him. I mean, legitimately, do they have that? James Cameron has, what, the second deepest manned mission in the sea, I think? Yep. Pretty scary situation. Here's hoping they somehow get saved. That would be a fucking miracle. You all know I'm not a big believer in the paranormal. All that hocus pocus and all that mumbo jumbo about ghosts and goblins and ghouls and gnomes and Santa Claus. It's all a bunch of hooey. The only metaphysical conundrum that I believe in is the mystery of why I'm stuck at 5'6". But aside from that, not much else. Though today we're going to be talking about something that's got me scratching at my chinny chin chin here in curiosity, because there is a TikTok time traveler who made a few predictions, and they actually kind of blew up on TikTok. So much so that we had someone come out to the warehouse about 2.5 weeks ago to help fix the air conditioning that was broken, and before leaving he mentioned to Matt that we need to make sure that we really hunker down, board everything up, and prepare for a Category 6 hurricane that was blowing in about 2 weeks. And Matt was stunned. So Matt sat there like he had just been hit with a fucking flashbang and tear gas at the same time. His brain literally blue screened upon hearing this. A Category 6 is not real. That's never... Category 5 is the highest it goes. So this goes above and beyond. It's going fucking plus ultra. And this guy is claiming that there's one on the way, even though there was no information about that anywhere. So Matt poked a little bit to see where he got it from, and he said a time traveler on TikTok said it. And that's when the light bulb went off in Matt's head. Eureka! He knew it was time to take this seriously now. There was a lot of weight behind this claim. So this is the video that was floating around and actually gaining a lot of steam online. Yes, I am a real time traveler. Here are all of the events to come in the final months of 2023, September. This isn't unusual for TikTok. Every single goofball with a phone likes to pretend that there's some kind of time traveler giving us warnings, and they just make like a ton of fucking outrageous claims. And this one said on September 4th, the first ever Category 6 hurricane occurs. It runs up almost the entire US East Coast, but it mainly affects Florida and both the Carolinas. Now, when Matt told me, I had already told him I knew that, because I am very in touch with the goofy shit that happens online. I had actually already made fun of this video on stream as well. When Matt told me about this, I giggled quite hard. I nearly spit up on myself. I still can't believe that real human beings in the real world will see some shit like that on TikTok and not give an iota of thought to it, and never even have the idea that it could be a lie cross their mind. This is a complete stranger on TikTok claiming to be a time traveler, making outrageous claims, and then some people just pog out to it and take it at face value, believing it. Like, holy shit, a Category 6 is rolling in, we gotta get fucking prepped. John Titor on TikTok said so. John Connor, Johnny Silverhand, the TikTok time traveler, this asshole said a Category 6 is coming, so it must be true. It's amazing. But the reason that I mentioned this was 2 weeks ago is because fast forward to now, and we had Hurricane Lee forming, and it was a very quick Category 5 and only getting stronger, threatening the East Coast. And a couple days ago, Matt told me, Charles, if this turns out to be right, we're gonna feel real fucking silly for making fun of this. He tried to warn us, but we didn't believe him. And I was actually starting to panic a little bit, thinking the universe around me was crumbling. My understanding of this very dimension we inhabit was starting to be called into question here. Maybe this was the one asshole telling the truth and is somehow an actual time traveler trying to get the message across. And I spit on it. But then it turns out, no, he was completely wrong. He not only predicted the wrong date, but he made like 5 other predictions that are just ridiculous. And also, Hurricane Lee has lost most of its strength. It's still a Category 3 hurricane as of right now. And it's also not going to Florida like the time traveler predicted. I also want to show you the other predictions they made in the same video. They said on September 10th, 20 people are chosen to see the afterlife, to know what it is like when you pass. What does that even mean? Does God hold some kind of reality show competition to choose 20 people to take a peek at heaven? Like, What is this? A deal or no deal situation? 20 people get to take a vacation to the afterlife? Do they come back? Because if not, this is just 20 people dying. And if that's the case, the bigger news on September 10th would have been that only 20 people in the world died. Because I've got news for the time traveler here. There's far more than 20 people seeing what the afterlife is like every single day. So this one, I just don't fucking understand at all. They then say, this makes the entire population to focus on finding a way to live much longer, as less than 5% are happy after. So I guess whatever time that this guy traveled from, they lost the ability to write in proper syntax. This is broken. I can't even deduce what the claim is. So after 20 people take a visit to the afterlife, less than 5% are happy after, and the population focuses on ways to live longer? You mean like what they're doing every single day? Science is constantly striving for ways for people to live longer. And that's without the 20 chosen afterlife spectators. And again, do the people that go to the afterlife come back to tell us about it? Like, what the fuck? Now, the next one is still upcoming, so this one still remains to be seen. But on September 18th, they claim that an invisible wall is put down to surround Mexico and Guatemala. It was put there by a hostile alien species to try and weaken us when they attack. Why? Why would they be putting an invisible wall there? Did they just play a ton of Starfield and see how effective invisible walls were or something? And if they have that kind of technology, why not just put an invisible wall around, like, pretty much everywhere? Cut everyone off. And also, why even use that in the first place? They also just fucking attack. If they're here, they'll probably beat our ass in an all-out war. The final claim from the time traveler for September of 2023 is on September 23rd, a Spirit Airlines plane crashes in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It actually went through a wormhole where it is 2 seconds to them, 6 years to us, and they return in 2029. Call me crazy, but I highly doubt that last one's happening. But who knows? It still remains to be seen. I really think that this was probably made by a teenager. That whole last section there just feels like it was a piece of his creative writing course for, like, his English class or something. Which is fine. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. But somehow, we met a person, a real living, breathing human being outside of the internet that believed this shit. Like with the upcoming Category 6 hurricane. So much so that they were trying to tell us that we need to prep for it. I'm assuming they had already started stockpiling like doomsday preppers getting ready for it. And that is tragic. That we've reached the point where people will actually believe anything. Not that I'm surprised. I'm not surprised by it. We see this all the time on Twitter where people will believe the most outrageous shit without even a single morsel of evidence to support it. But I've just never seen it in the real world. I thought that was mainly brain rot internet brain, but no. This was a seemingly completely normal guy and just happened to really buy into this hype that there was a Category fucking 6 hurricane that was coming in like 2 weeks. But you know what? I'm putting the carriage before the horse here. You know, there's still time for some of his other predictions to see if those come true or not. You know, he got a couple of them wrong, sure, but you know, who isn't wrong sometimes? But anyway, I just had to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya. I'm almost embarrassed to admit this given how popular it is right now, but I had no idea what Stanley Cups were. I had only ever known the Stanley Cup as the hockey championship trophy, and I also only knew it as what Matt called his water cup. And I thought he was just being quirky because he likes hockey, he's a huge hockey fan, so I thought he was just being a little zany by calling his cup the Stanley. But apparently it's a massive cultural phenomenon right now with people flocking and fighting over getting the newest limited edition Stanley Cup drops. Now, I'd also known Stanley as a company that makes a bunch of tools, but I assume that was totally separate from the company that's making these cups. It's not. It's the same company, and they struck gold with this cup. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of the videos that have flooded TikTok and Twitter about people camping out outside at Target at like 4 a.m. waiting like 10 hours and whatever, just for the chance at getting a Stanley Cup from the limited edition drop here. Just the opportunity to try. And there's also been someone that like hopped over the counter to steal some Stanleys. The reselling on these cups is outrageous. Some of them are going for $200+ online right now. It's the most important item on the planet right now. If you had to choose between getting a life-saving surgery or spending that money on a Stanley, you're better off getting the Stanley, because if you're caught without one, you might as well be dead. Everyone loves this cup right now. If you flexed a Rolex at someone, like flashed a massive Rolex at someone, they'd be like, yeah, whatever, where's your Stanley, brokey? It's on a whole nother level. I haven't seen this kind of consumerism hype since Supreme madness like 5, 6, 7 years ago, however long ago that was. But anyway, let me just go ahead and show you some of the clips that have been floating around. Stanley Cup reselling is so crazy. The Stanley Cup trend is so crazy to me. I had no idea these things were so popular. So Matt's had one for a while, and he kept calling it his Stanley. I thought that was just some kind of like cute pet name he gave it or something for some reason. I had no idea this was like a massive brand. But it's more than that. It's like a whole phenomenon. And it's just a fucking cup. Like, it's not even like a special cup or anything. But like, I saw some of the reselling is like $200 or $300 earlier. It's wild. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I get a lot of the other collectors things that people go crazy for and wait outside like for 6 hours for. I get it, I guess. But not a cup. It's $1,000 for the Valentine's one on StockX. I'm not even surprised anymore. But I was watching some of the videos. So, basically right now, the reason it's such a big thing is because Target just had their own limited edition Stanley. And there was also a Starbucks one. Or wait. Are they the same one? I thought they were two different ones. The release of the limited edition pink version of the viral 40-ounce Stanley Quencher drinking cup designed with Starbucks led to chaos at multiple Target locations. Oh. Well, whatever. This Target one has got people acting up, acting a fool here. Like, look at how long they stay in these, like, giant lines camping out. It's just fanatical consumerism over a goddamn cup. So right now there's a limit of 2 Stanleys per person. This lady documented the whole process. 4:40 a.m. outside at Target waiting for the Stanleys to be stocked in the morning.
Wait, I'm not liking this.
I just can't imagine getting that excited seeing this. Peeking in like some kind of stalker, a peeping Tom or something, over some Stanley cups. So I don't really know why. I don't know what makes them so popular or why they caught on like wildfire so quickly. I'm guessing it's just one of those things that got big on TikTok, so then everyone wanted them as like a status symbol. That's my only guess. Kind of like what Supreme used to have. That had like a stranglehold on the nuts of culture for a while, waiting in line for Supreme items and all of that. And I guess that's become this? I don't really know. It's probably because of that car fire video. What does that mean? Did the Stanley survive like a car fire or something? Like, was that part of the viral marketing campaign? Watch us blow up this truck, but the Stanley will be fine? Yeah, no, it's exactly that. Oh. Okay, I mean, that's cool. Doesn't make me want to go out and get a Stanley. Having a cup that can survive a car fire, I guess, is nifty, but I wouldn't require it of my drinking apparatus, nor would I wait 6 hours for it.
It's pink. It's so cute.
It's almost the biggest moment of their lives. The Stanleys are gonna be released. Holy shit. No trampling. This is actually pretty well mannered as far as stampedes for consumer products go. Pokemon usually has a couple dead bodies in the wake.
If you're getting one.
So if I can fish out one compliment for the intellectuals here at the Stanley opening, at least they didn't kill each other getting them. They politely walked in, got their 2 Stanleys paid, and got out. So that's good. No slit throats or no foul play. I work at Dick's Sporting Goods and people have been going crazy over them for a year. It starts with teens, then spreads to FOMO adults that'll buy them. Oh, probably scalpers then. I guess that makes sense. Like, they're going for so much on the secondary market. I guess that's probably what it is for adults.
I just want a video. This is funny.
Oh, these poor cups over here getting no love. Should have been a Stanley, loser. Rough. This brand's probably crying right now into their hands seeing this footage. Completely untouched. There was a fight in some... Oh, I didn't see this part. I guess there was a fight. Never mind. Never... The Stanley consumer base is no different than the rest of us. Like how people used to fight over Pokemon cards in Target. Oh, God. And the authorities had to show up to enforce order. Perhaps pandemonium did break out. Story goes, a car caught on fire and the cup survived, so they bought the person a new car. That's actually a really sweet move from the Stanley company then. This Target, I guess, passed out tickets for it, like it was Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. That's kind of cool. Oh god, I hate that fucking song. So that guy jumped the counter for some Stanleys and got the fuck out. Knocked over a trash can. Alright. Jesus. Projected to top 750 million for 2023. Goodness gracious. They do work though. Yeah, so does like every other cup. This fucking works. I can use this. That IKEA cup that everyone in the world has, that's gotten me through the last, 15 years of drinking. Supposed to keep your stuff cold. Oh, it's an insulated cup? Is that its big selling point? Is it like the best insulated cup ever or something? I guess. I don't use an insulated cup, so I guess I can't speak on what's better. I'm only just now learning that Stanley is a brand and not just what Matt called his cup. So I clearly don't know anything about it and how good it actually is. A moist global tumbler cup win? Oh, should directly compete with Stanley. Oh, that'd be so smart. Just get like a cheap beater car, set that shit on fire with a moist global Stanley bootleg in there, try and make magic happen twice. Or we can ramp it up. We'll take it to a monster jam or something and have that shit like destroyed by a monster truck, but our Stanley is still fine. Actually, no, that'd be stupid if we did a monster jam. We need it to hit with, like, the young teen girl audience, I think. I don't know how many of them are into monster trucks. So maybe the Carfire would be best, actually, since that's the one that worked for Stanley. We can try and just emulate. Hydro Flask was in for a bit, but Stanley took advantage and started doing SE and collabs. That's the way to do it. So they dethroned... I remember Hydro Flask. I remember that was huge, actually. What is it with, like, water cups that pop so hard? Yeah, that's a great point. I remember Hydro Flask was everywhere. That's like the item I would least expect to be a super popular thing, because that's just such a normal item. Like, I don't view it as like a luxury status symbol. It's just like a cup for a beverage. I would never think that that would be what would catch on in culture. Stanley should start doing some, like, anime collabs or something. Break into a whole new market. Stanley collaboration with Gamer Sups. You get a titty milk at Stanley. That would probably go hard. Have you seen the Scintbird CEO? She does a podcast with her eyes closed to talk to spirits and said Hitler wasn't bad. What? The Scintbird CEO does this. Wait. I know Scintbird. Yeah, wait, you're right. The Scintbird CEO claims to be a spiritual medium. Or, sorry, not a spiritual medium, a spiritual guru. The co-founder of the Netflix for Fragrance, Mariah Nuraslamova, has been moonlighting as a spiritual influencer. Comments on extraterrestrials, The Matrix, and Hitler have recently attracted negative attention. Your teeth are not randomly crooked, there is a spiritual meaning. Every little aspect of the tooth is a map, right? This sounds beautifully unhinged. You see they found a cave on the moon? Oh, we got moon troglodytes now? That's pretty cool. This is I can't find the clips anywhere else right now, so right now, completely reliant on the YouTubers here to bless me with this info. I want to see these readings.
Version of the Matrix will be the default one. The 5th version of the Matrix is actively being incubated, and according to Maria, it's showing really good signs and is looking promising.
Now there is a new version of the Matrix that's being currently incubated. The 5th version of the Matrix.
Matrix 5?
That one is showing signs of really good promise, so...
Maria mentions having a direct...
Wait a minute, I need to go to our website. there's a Matrix 5 dropping? This is Maria. She is the CEO of Scintbird, which I think many of you have probably seen through YouTube sponsors. They were pretty big on influencer marketing, from what I recall.
So when you are inviting black into your body, you're not inviting demons, God forbid. You're not inviting evil into your body. You are inviting this moldable substance that contains all life inside, that contains all light inside, that contains the entire spectrum of everything.
Okay, so she's about to cast a hollow purple. I don't really care about that. Where did she do, like, the spiritual readings, like where she talks about Hitler and everything? I don't need to know about her curse technique.
I mean, I'm in the presence of an architect, of the Great Architects Council of Light, but sadly that
is big.
The case.
That is big.
Automatically crushed while listening to her guided meditation for an ultimate womb detox. And
whoa, an ultimate womb detox? Whoa, hey, hold on, I can use that.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome to Our Sacred Universe, a podcast where we meditate together.
I'm ready.
Today I wanted to offer you a womb healing practice.
Thank you.
Our womb space is where we deposit a lot of our hurt, a lot of our pain, a lot of our suffering. But a womb space, or if you will, our sacral space,
I have
something that everyone has.
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
If you haven't checked out my book yet,
no, hold on. I don't need the hashtag ads here. Just give me my womb needs a little bit of assistance here.
Keep breathing in and out.
Imagine I just have a full body orgasm from this.
Breath to ground and center yourself. Invite the healing vibrations of the universe to enter the sacred space of your womb.
See, like, we skip a step. How do I invite the healing vibrations of the universe to fuck my womb or whatever? Like, what do I do? Like, how do I send out the distress signal? That's where these guided meditations always fall apart for me. Like, they make it sound like it's so easy that I can just call upon healing vibrations. Like, I'm not a shaman. Like, can you call it for me? I think some membership buzz. Book a reservation. Yeah, what availability do the healing vibrations have in the universe? I imagine they're probably pretty booked up. Why are you detoxing your womb? It sounded helpful. If you're just tuning in, to give you context, this individual, Maria, is the CEO of Scintbird, which is actually a pretty big company, or at least it was. I don't know if it still is. And according to Chatter, the Scintbird CEO has found herself into some controversy because of this line of work, where apparently she was saying that Hitler wasn't bad through her spiritual guru sessions, and I'm trying to locate that, but I'm getting all, like, sidetracked here, going through these alternate branching paths in the visual novel. So I'm still looking for that, but it's such an interesting tangent. Big thanks to OperaGX for sponsoring this video. OperaGX is the browser you see me use every single night on stream. It's just my go-to browser, and it has so many features that I just really have come to know and love. Obviously, the one that I always preach about, because it's the one I'm most enthusiastic about, is the fact that OperaGX is not a resource hog like Chrome and other browsers. It is so lightweight, but so powerful, and the GX mods that it offers are super fun, so you can really customize it to make it feel like your own and make it feel super unique. There's just so many things you can change and tinker around with. There's so many different ways of integrating extensions that you're already used to in other browsers to seamlessly transition them into Opera. They have the GX store. They just have so many features. The hot tabs killer, forcing things to go from flashbang into forced dark mode, so you don't have to go to a new website and then just get blinded by a bright light. It's just the best browser, in my opinion. So, big thanks to OperaGX for sponsoring this. You can download Opera right now for free by clicking the link in the description. The dark truth about coffee, it is a toxin that darkens your aura? What? Coffee is bad for your aura?
It also darkens our aura as it does. As it does so, as it works with our body. So it's almost like when coffee gets into your aura, it creates these little anchors or these little dots of itself. It's almost like it gives an energetic imprint into your body.
What?
And though that energetic imprint is kind of what causes an addiction, because it's going.
The energetic imprint is what causes an addiction, and it darkens our aura through that. How the fuck does it touch my aura?
When you evolve.
Okay.
Over time, what ends up happening to your soul is you accumulate more and more light in your body. So you grow and expand, and you grow and expand by accumulating more light and kind of releasing darkness, if that makes sense. Over here,
it makes so much sense,
of
actually.
Things in your life are dependent on how much light you can hold within your body, especially if you're on spiritual path. For people that are able to hold on a lot of light in their auric fields, their spiritual gifts open up. Their abundance channels open up. Their
abundance channels.
Up. Essentially, like their higher selves come through, and then the body is considered clean. So your higher self is willing to inhabit more of your physical body.
What is happening?
And therefore, you will always have connected. You become a channel.
That's a lot to process. She's blowing the lid wide open on what it means to be alive. Your higher self gave you this name for a reason. I mean, it's my dad's name. Is that the reason my higher self gave it to me? These are so interesting. I'm never gonna find the video where she's apparently talking about Hitler. I'm just gonna keep going down these wacky fucking titles. Why did my higher self name me Charles?
Hello, my darlings.
I feel like it's because it's my dad's name.
This is Maria. The topic for today is Maria.com. All right, the mystery of the name. This is kind of a fun topic.
It's not a mystery.
That is
it's just not a mystery for like most people.
I don't think it would be vowels and the consonants in the name, through the letters in the name, connects you to certain aspects of universal flow, universal energy, if you will.
Huh?
And because you're so attached, in a good way, to your name, you have a claim over those energies.
Okay, I claim all of the energies of C-H-A-R-L-E and S. No one else can have them. That's my domain now, and I'm kicking everyone else out. Eliminate pain and heal a specific organ or part of your body. Teaching you how to use the Force. Are you a star seed? Yes. One thing that did come up though is called the Karma of Atlantis. It's time to release it. Here's how you can do it right now. Like raise Atlantis myself? I can do that?
Favorite YouTubers have promoted a brand that normally wouldn't show up on my scam/problematic radar scanner.
Scentbird.
Scentbird.
Yeah, I told you it was a big thing. Told you that.
That at least outwardly, because the CEO of Scentbird, Maria Nurislamova, stinks.
Our bodies choose to miscarry children.
Oh.
It's not an accident that happens. It's a choice. If people were to align with their life purpose, we would see a lot less cancer on planet Earth. You could heal yourself from any disease. I don't care if it's cancer. I don't care if it's AIDS. It could be whatever. But you could heal yourself in the span of under 7 days.
We're going to talk about the spiritual reasons for being overweight.
Like Adolf Hitler is one of the poster children for like being an evil person. Do you know how many millions of souls benefited from learning from the experience that he has created? So is he evil? Not really. I don't think so.
Wow, Maria. Those spiritual sessions are sending you down the loony path.
A lot of hidden agendas by the powers that be. And those hidden agendas remain hidden because there is not enough heart space energy in humanity to be able to bring them to light. The heart energy is always the energy of light. The heart energy is always the energy that essentially you emanate your energy from the heart. The heart is one of those energies that if your heart is activated internally, you can heal your whole body in a matter.
I will say if your heart isn't activated, you're probably not watching this video in the first place. You are dead. Most likely. Bearing some like very fringe cases.
That is the power of the heart. It changes your internal ecosystem and it changes your external ecosystem. It just does. It is meant to. It is.
Well, who knew? Who knew? It's like breathing techniques from Demon Slayer, but for your heart. It can do anything. It's just like a bunch of gobbledygook. This is like, there's nothing that binds these statements together. It's just like a random assortment of words that have no real meaning. This is the problem when I'm looking through pages like this. I get so distracted by so many cool titles. She has one here called Babies Control How Long Their Birth Is. Like, this is unhinged. God damn it.
That's why certain births take so long, is in the state of resistance. If the baby's in a state of fear, if the baby doesn't want to access their masculine energies, the birth process is going to take longer. That's why someone...
Wait, what? The baby doesn't want to tap into its masculine energies, so it doesn't want to be birthed? What the fuck? The baby comes out like scoops of, like, creatine. What in the world? Shit's not even born in amniotic fluid, it's just like a bunch of, like, trin. What is this? What is she talking about? This isn't even spiritual.
I have a hard time answering the question about evil because there is such a big gap between how humanity perceives good versus evil and how, you know, even beings in the seventh dimension perceive
the seventh dimension. Who's in the seventh dimension?
Higher self perceives.
Glorbus? Like who are you communicating with in the seventh fucking dimension?
Stepping back, let's say your higher self wants to understand murder.
Should be easy
It's just
to understand.
A fascinating subject for your higher self.
Okay.
If it wants to understand murder,
Jesus Christ.
the angle. So your higher self may choose to come as a victim, as the mother of the victim, as the father of the victim.
Why?
As the teacher of the victim.
Why would it want to? So, based on what I've gathered, very limited exposure to her spiritual guru benevolence, it seems like she believes you are the product of your higher self wanting to be experimental. So when something bad happens, it's because your higher self is trying to learn about it. So here, she's using murder as an example. So if you are someone who gets murdered, or associated with the victim of a murder, it's because your higher self wanted to be in that position. It was all predestined because your higher self wanted to be present for it, to learn about it. Which is the dumbest idea ever. That's actually the stupidest fucking idea.
And by the way, like, look at Hitler. He's one of the poster child children for, like, being an evil person. Do you know how many millions of souls benefited from learning from the experience that he has created? So
the
here,
world serpent has awakened.
You know,
like tier 1
look
hell
at
and Goldie.
A character like him and be like, oh, he's completely evil. And upstairs, his experience was the greatest, one of the greater, you know, sources of knowledge of, you know, of 3D planet Earth warfare.
3D planet Earth warfare.
And that is benefiting
what?
So many different souls. On their.
This is a very interesting take, Maria. So, there's a lot to unpack there, Maria. There's a lot to process. The healing vibrations of the universe have not been kind to her frontal lobe. Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Evolutionary path. So is he evil? Not really. I don't think so.
So interesting. So just it means that some higher selves choose to take this path, and it seems like it's maybe a bit less desirable than other ones because we don't have that many murderers and mass murderers especially, right? But they still choose to do so for their own development. Like,
well, do you want me to give you an even better example?
Yeah.
That was an incredible example,
Maria.
Maria.
World of Warcraft is evil because you're killing things.
Like in a computer game,
yeah.
People don't think it's evil. Yes.
I know. Same logic. It's a computer game from higher self level. Like, fine. Like, I don't know. Any of those.
Same logic. Yeah, killing goblins in World of Warcraft is the same as Hitler for the Holocaust. You hypocrites. What an interesting character she is. Her higher self has very much done her a great justice. Her enlightenment is astounding. She's trolling. I don't know, she has a whole career based out of this, and apparently you can even pay for these sessions privately. But her main hustle is Scentbird, which again is a pretty popular product, or at least it was for a little while. She's the CEO of it, or at least was.
RPG games, I think RPG is what they're called, right? Like where you like go and like murder, you know, all kinds of beings.
They're not beings.
Sunday,
they're
with
pixels.
All kinds of weapons, and you're like, I need this strength, and I need this skill, and let me have this gun, and I want a bigger gun, and even more bullets, and blah blah blah. I mean, you go in, you may have murdered 1,000 beings.
They're not beings. They're not real.
And then you go on your merry way, and nobody's pointing a finger at you at work and being like, this is a mass murderer. But how is that any different? So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
so
like,
good.
What we perceive as
Oh
evil
my god.
is not the same experience. Now, you as an avatar, right? You as a person who chooses to play a game, you choose what game you want to play, right? Like, you may go and play Candy Crush. You may go.
She's so fascinating. Like she's dangerously stupid. Like, actually stupid to a level where it could be harmful to people around her. Like, there's nothing wrong with being, like, harmlessly dumb, but when you start to cross the threshold, the event horizon that she's to the point where, like, she is actually probably a threat to the safety of those around her. Yeah, like, even her co-host is laughing at that. Alright, we don't have to continue down this rabbit hole. I'll stop. This kind of shit, though, is always just so interesting to me. The co-host is her husband, who is also co-founder and CPO of Scentbird. That must be a great relationship. Honey, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. And Maria comes out, no! Slaps the coffee mug out of his hands. It's gonna darken your aura! Remember what happened when you killed that level 6 thug in World of Warcraft? You're just like Hitler! As they say, you can't spell diarrhea without EA. And EA decided to throw their hat in the ring during this turmoil in the video game space, with so many major companies coming forward and all collectively doing their best Cybertron cosplay and just imploding on themselves with these ridiculous decisions with their games and how they want to manage those services. They're all just putting their ass in their asshole and looking like fools in doing so. Most recently Xbox, before them Sony, before them Escape from Tarkov. Like, it continues to happen. And I guess EA was feeling real lonely, just isolated on, like, the weird kids' lunch table, like, hey, we haven't done anything super stupid in, like, a couple weeks. It's our turn. Check this out. And their CEO comes forward honking his nose and pulling ribbon from his mouth and says, hey, we can't wait to ramp up generative AI in our games. Thinking that somehow this was like a slam dunk, like this is a good thing. Proud about putting AI in their games, which will inevitably lead to the loss of many jobs there. It's something that people have been warning about for a long time, and it looks like we're starting to reach that point. And their CEO isn't even bothered. He's not even giving a single iota of a fuck about trying to hide the fact that they are going hog wild into AI to start making their games. That is scary. And not only that, he wasn't satisfied with just that statement. He actually went to double tap our ass with another statement, this time about Battlefield, where he said that Battlefield is going to be another tremendous live service game. He is so disconnected from reality, he's using the worst 2 words you can ever use in gaming. These are cardinal sins. This is like using Voldemort's name. He's using AI proudly and live service proudly. Live service is almost like a slur in gaming at this point with how negative that connotation is. According to this article, Andrew Wilson is saying that this is the largest Battlefield team in franchise history, with DICE, Criterion, Ripple Effect, and now Motive all working on it. And he said that Battlefield 2042 players made it clear they wanted an even deeper experience, and that a few weeks ago I was visiting with the teams and I couldn't be more excited about what they showed and what we were able to play. I'm gonna take a quick pause real quick. This is a picture of Andrew Wilson. Does this look like a guy who plays games? This looks like a fucking android from Detroit Become Human. This guy looks like a video game character, not like an actual person who plays the games. This is the biggest corpo suit I've ever seen. I know you didn't play Battlefield or anything like that. This is a bunch of hullabaloo nonsense. Anyway, back to the article. Later on in the earnings call, Wilson slightly expanded on this with an amusing encapsulation of what they were going for. I've just spent a whole bunch of time with the collective Battlefield team, playing with their building, and it is going to be another tremendous live service. Another? Where was the first one? You don't have a tremendous live service. Battlefield 2042 was a joke at launch, and it is still one of my more shameful moist meters because I was very generous with it, assuming that it was going to be fixed quickly. it didn't get fixed for a long time. I know it's in a much better state now, but that doesn't forgive the extremely long period of time where it was just fundamentally broken and barren. It was a fucking tragedy and a stain on the Battlefield legacy. You don't have a tremendous live service record to pull from here, Andrew. So I don't know why you're saying another as if you just can't stop making hits out here like the Beatles. It's ridiculous. It's a fucking ridiculous statement. And no one likes live service games right now because they are so bad most of the time with their monetization and also just how long it takes for anything to actually get added to them. The only live service game that's been crushing it in recent memory is Helldivers 2. But anyway, I won't fixate too much on this Andrew Wilson statement about Battlefield. Instead, I want to focus on the generative AI statement, because that one is extraordinarily alarming for the entire video game industry. He apparently wants it as quickly as possible, so it's coming. Brace yourself. And if you work in the industry, my heart is breaking for you. EA is not even being shy about it. Andrew Wilson thinks AI could be the holy grail for at least half of EA's development process. AKA, can't wait to start laying people off and saving money. Yeah, I think the second EA starts making all of their games have this huge AI integration in their development process and laying people off is the day that I will pirate every single EA game forever. Does EA honestly think people will support this? I think he is so disconnected from reality, Andrew Wilson probably thought that this was a major PR win. AI! Kids are gonna love that shit, it's so new! Oh my god, it's like when Joe Biden and Trump argue with each other on TikTok with AI. People love it, they're gonna love it in our games! So despite the games industry's mixed feelings about generative AI, EA CEO Andrew Wilson is anxious to apply it wherever he can. In a call with investors on Tuesday, Wilson said he's working to implement generative AI as quickly as possible throughout the development process. He thinks the technology could unlock EA's holy grail, which is to build bigger, more innovative, more creative, more fun games more quickly. And at half the cost, because you're getting rid of all of your actual workers on it. I mean, that's the big thing. I don't know why he's being coy about it. It's no secret that Wilson is a fan of artificial intelligence. In March, the executive bragged that EA was AI native, and that some of its games players' runs had already been augmented by AI. He added that because of how large today's games tend to be, AI could help expedite the game development process. Strangely, Wilson also rattled off an idea involving an EA AI platform which could see 3 billion players around the world creating personal content and expanding and enhancing the universes that EA creates. What in the fuck is that? What kind of lunacy? Can someone take my man off the crack pipe? Now they want us to develop the game? Fuck that. Isn't that a cool idea? We're gonna build an EA AI platform where players can build their own games that we can monetize. So then we don't even need to hire developers, we can just have the gamers do it for us. Genius! Andrew Wilson is in the laboratory concocting something quite foul. Fortnite approach? Kind of. The difference with the Fortnite approach, though, is that it's not AI. Like, it's still players building games. And Fortnite gives them a massive cut of the profits. They do a really good profit split with the Fortnite custom community. As far as everyday game development goes, Wilson thinks AI is nearly ready to positively impact at least 50% of EA's processes. That's based on an early assessment of EA's entire development pipeline, according to Wilson's investor call comments on Tuesday. As we think about the first pillar of generative AI for us, we're really looking at how it can make us more efficient, how it can give our developers more power, how it can give them back more time and allow them to get to the fun more quickly. And we've got teams across the company really looking to execute that. That's not how it's going to be used, Andrew. Don't you ever lie to me again. I've said this before. I think AI can be a really good tool, especially in game development, for some of the grunt work that they just put people on for the sake of having them do something, but no one really likes doing it. So like random world NPCs coming up with just throwaway dialogue lines, you can just delegate that to an AI to just spit those out endlessly. Things like that, like actual tedium grunt work that they don't even really hire people for, they just put people from other positions on. I think if you just give that to AI, that's a positive use. But that is not how EA is going to use it. Not at all. That is not what they're going to use it for. Like I mentioned on stream, there is actual good usage for AI in game development if you give it as a tool to the developers themselves as opposed to replacing them with it, which I think is the long-term goal for companies like EA. I think a developer can use AI to help ease the burden of some of the more tedious processes, like I mentioned with like throwaway dialogue and NPCs, or lip syncing. So I didn't know this until Stream mentioned it, but apparently Final Fantasy VII Rebirth used AI to help with lip syncing. That is another positive use I can see for it, because at that point it is a tool being used by the developers to help in their art. It's not taking away any jobs, because it's not like they were going to bring on a lip-syncing specialist. It was going to still be the exact same team, with many of them just having to bite down and just fucking grit their teeth and just do the tedious lip-syncing chores. Whereas with AI, they can just give that grunt work to the AI. It doesn't take away any jobs, it doesn't step on any creative toes or anything at all. It is literally just being used by the creatives to help in their vision and help them focus on the bigger things with their art. I think that is another good use of AI, but I don't see a company like EA using AI for these purposes. EA is a company that would be putting nicotine in your controllers if it was able to make you more hooked on their products and spend more in their games with their monetization models. They are not a company that is going to be using AI to just help their employees. It's going to be used to try and phase them out over time so they can save money on those salaries. 100%. That is the goal with it. They'll be able to churn out more games faster with less work behind them, like less salaried work behind them, and I think to them, that's the holy grail that Andrew Wilson is referring to. So it's just a really grim future for games once they start integrating AI into it, and EA isn't being shy at all. He is coming out and saying they can't wait to ramp up their AI. And that shit sucks. That is just classic EA garbage right there. And I just had to talk about this. It's another big video games industry misfire here. Like, I don't understand how so many of these companies keep doing this all so quickly back to back to back to back to back. I'm curious to see how many more are going to come forward and do something like this as well. That's really about it. So yeah. There's a story that's kind of blown up over the last few days about a remote tribe that got access to the internet and then immediately addicted to porn. And I learned about it on stream a little bit, but the more research I've done on it, the more it seems like that's a load of horseradish. That's a bunch of fiddlesticks here. While it is true that this remote tribe got internet access and porn did become somewhat prevalent in their culture as a result, it's actually far different than a lot of the mainstream articles are having you believe. It's a really disingenuous spin on a really interesting story. The way mainstream media covers this story, they'd have you believe that this tribe got internet access and the first thing they did, the first order of business, was to Google butt play, rubber fist, spit roast, bukkake, until all of them became hypnotized, porn-addicted zombies unable to function. Like they start their day with a goon sesh and then hunting. They like just drooling, foaming at the mouth, scratching at their neck for more porn for their fix. When in reality, that's not at all the truth of the situation here. So I want to show you the story that mainstream media is telling, the one that I learned about on stream. Then I'd like to come in and give you the truth of it. Now, like I mentioned, since they got internet access and since porn is so big online now, they were exposed to it, and it is becoming somewhat of a problem in the culture, as it is across the globe with porn addiction. Did you hear about the Amazon tribe that got addicted to porn because of Starlink? Hold on a second. That's kind of a dangerous search on stream, but now I'm very curious. Remote Amazon tribe finally connects to the internet only to wind up hooked on porn. Damn! A reclusive tribe in the Amazon finally got hooked up to the internet thanks to Elon Musk, only to be torn apart by social media and pornography addiction. Brazil's 2,000-member Marubo tribe has been left bitterly divided by the arrival of the Tesla Starlink service 9 months ago, which connected the remote rainforest community along the Itui River to the web for the first time. When it arrived, everyone was happy, Sainama Marubo, who's 73, told New York Times. But now things have gotten worse. Young people have gotten lazy because of the internet. They're learning the ways of the white people. The Marubo are a chaste tribe who even frown upon kissing in public. But Alfredo Marubo, all Marubo use the same last name, said he's anxious that the arrival of the service, which delivers super fast internet to far-flung corners of the planet and has been billed as a game changer, could open up standards of decorum. Alfredo said many young Marubo men have been sharing porn videos in group chats, and he's already observed more aggressive sexual behavior in some of them. We're worried young people are going to want to try it, he said of kinky sex acts. Everyone is so concerned that sometimes they don't even talk to their family. Is this real? Am I reading a joke article? Is this... I mean, this comes from a real source, though. I feel like if you've never seen porn before and you get exposed to it, I feel like you're probably going to be startled first and foremost. Like, that's a lot to take in all at once. Think about this. The average person right now sees more tits, dick, pussy, and ass than any, like, member of your ancestral history combined. Like, I feel like that's such an overwhelming amount to take in all at once if you've never seen anything like that before. Like, the most you've experienced is fucking missionary. Like, I feel like you'd probably be startled. I can't imagine you immediately getting hooked on it, but I know porn addiction is rampant. And clearly it looks like it's just, no matter what, people are just susceptible to it. Tribespeople became so addicted that Marubo leaders, fearing that history and culture, which was passed down orally, could be lost forever, they have now limited access to the internet for 2 hours each morning, 5 hours each evening, and all day Sunday. But parents are still worrying the damage may already be done. How did they find the porn in the first place? You don't find the porn. The porn finds you on the modern internet. Go on Twitter for 3 seconds, click on any innocent tweet, and you're going to see Goatsy immediately underneath that. 15 OnlyFans bots saying, you could fuck me if you want. And you see that as just like a remote tribe. You're like, pardon? Just click this, and then just like fucking jacking into Cerebro. It's based on your settings, though. No, it's not. If you go to any popular tweet on Twitter, like go on there without an account, look at a popular tweet, make an account, click on that, and you're immediately getting porn. It floats to the top thanks to the system with paying for verification. All the porn bots float to the top. It's not algorithmically driven. Now, the person who broke this story, his name is Jack. And once this really started to blow up, he even went on Twitter to set the record straight, saying that he never made the claim that they were addicted to porn, stop sharing that lie. And he actually posted a video kind of going over like the bullet points about what he's found from studying this with this tribe getting access to high-speed internet. So I want to play a little bit of that video here, but when you read the original article here, it really doesn't make any claims about, you know, porn is fucking tearing the Marubo apart or anything like that. You know, young men start their morning by Googling boob no clothes please, like they're trying to order off of a porn menu. God forbid though, if they do have access to Twitter, all hope is already lost. You won't be able to avoid the porn. It's like trying to dodge rain in a thunderstorm. No matter where you go on that godforsaken wasteland, it will lead to spread asshole, spread eagle, spready Kruger, fucking soliciting pussy pics, bots spamming advertisements for OnlyFans, non-bot accounts making sponsored posts for porn that they're paid to promote covertly. Like, it's ludicrous. So if they do have that, like if they're on Twitter, then yeah, I can definitely see that being a big issue. But the article isn't focused on just the porn aspect of the internet. It talks about the good that the tribe has experienced with the internet that they really appreciate, with, you know, having access to medical information or having access to emergency hotlines in case of a medical emergency, being able to contact people outside the tribe, having access to just general information outside of the tribe, to all of the negatives that come with it. Scams, misinformation, porn, stuff like that. And it's just talking about what the tribe is going through having this newfound high-speed internet access. But it's important to realize, and if you read the article you'll know, this tribe wasn't completely cut off from the outside world and internet just kind of sprung up like it was a wish from Cosmo and Wanda and the Fairly Odd Parents. Like, they actually already were familiar with this kind of technology. They had phones before they had high-speed internet. So it's not like they were completely isolated from this kind of technology. They just got this new boost, like up the technological tree here with high-speed internet. So let me play you a little bit of this video.
I've been reporting on the arrival of high-speed Starlink internet in remote indigenous villages in the Amazon rainforest. Myself and our photographer, Victor Moriyama, we ended up hiking in total about 50 miles in order to reach villages of the Marubo people, which are an indigenous tribe that has lived for hundreds of years, if not longer, in one of the most isolated stretches of the Amazon rainforest.
He starts by describing the journey to even reach the tribe, and then he goes into the contrast with their traditional way of life with their newfound technological integration to that traditional way of life. And he talks about the contrast between these two things.
And that meant, seeing people hunched over on their phones, typing away, sending voice notes, watching, video clip. The Marubo are not a fully isolated tribe. Many of the Marubo actually already had smartphones, and then they were using them to communicate when they were in the city or to take photos in the forest.
Even though mainstream media wants you to believe that they've been cut off from the rest of the world for, 1,000 years or whatever, like the Avatar frozen in a block of ice, that's just not the reality here. They have some technology. They have had technology. They have smartphones. They have been able to communicate outside of the tribe. What's new is the high-speed internet, which was introduced in September of 2023 with Starlink.
The Starlink antenna is a satellite internet service from SpaceX, the private space company owned by Elon Musk, arrived in the Marubo villages in September 2023. Right away, the internet was a huge hit and people were on it all the time, so much that it became a problem for the hunting and the farming that are necessary for their way of life. But at the same time, I saw the Marubo people dealing with misinformation and scams, to pornography, to addictive social networks, to violent video games.
He goes on to say that a big difference here is that society's had decades to acclimate to the internet and kind of grow with it to figure out its place in society. Whereas the Marubo are dealing with it all at once because they got all of it at once, whereas we gradually grew with the internet until it became what it is today. So he's talking about the things that he saw that were leading to problems in the tribe, which was, people are starting to get lazier because they don't want to hunt as much, they'd rather watch some videos, or they're procrastinating on farming occasionally because they'd rather be, just perusing the World Wide Web, or playing a game, maybe watching porn. Like, he just talks about the whole host of things that we as a society have already been dealing with, and now they are as well. It's not like this tribe got internet access and immediately overnight, like that, became a whole tribe of gooners. That's just not at all what happened, despite what the headlines lead you to believe. So I just wanted to set the record straight on that. Now he does go on to mention that some of the elders are concerned about the longevity of the tribe going forward now with all of this internet access, because naturally younger members of the tribe get more curious about the outside world, and they want to potentially leave the tribe, which would eventually lead to the destruction of the whole culture as they all branch out to the outside world thanks to this newfound interest in it and access to it. Overall, it's a really interesting story that I think just got a very clickbaity twist on it, where every outlet wanted to just focus on porn addiction, when that is not at all what he was talking about when he wrote this article. At least I don't think so, and he doesn't seem to think so either. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I do find it fascinating. That's really about it. So yeah. Yeah, the new Dwayne Wade statue I want to talk about. Many of you know this. Dwayne Wade is one of my favorite basketball players of all time. Allen Iverson is my #1, but Dwayne Wade is in my top 5. And they revealed a statue today, which I'll show you the hype reveal of that. And it's already being compared to one of the great statues, up there with some of Michelangelo's best work. It was the Cristiano Ronaldo statue. It might even be the same sculptor. So this one was iconic for how dog shit it was. Here, I'll pull it over. So that was the Ronaldo statue that, when it was revealed, obviously went viral because of its goofy face. Yeah! Woo! Oh, God. It must be so hard for Dwayne Wade to sit there and just be like, oh, I can't show that this bothers me how bad it is. Like, everything's good except the face. I don't know what happened here. The face looks like it's still loading. Like in a cutscene. Like, the textures aren't there yet, so it's just kind of blocked out. They aged him by like 50 years. I feel like there's just pain behind those eyes right now. He's just holding it in the best he can to stay professional. It's such a super meaningful and special gesture to have a fucking statue made after you, only for them to butcher your face like that. Like, it looks like he's melting. Not as bad as the Ronaldo face. The Ronaldo face is still worse. Like I said, I think this is almost on par. The Ronaldo face is iconic in how shitty it is. This one is just... it's not even the same guy. Ronaldo looks like if I did the statue, like the portrait of my father. There's also this angle too, which is pretty cool. Woohoo! Yeah! He looks like he's in pain. Like he's about to transform or something. Looks like they did a 2K face scan of him. Looks like he was frozen in carbonite like Han Solo. Isn't the face like the most important part? Oh, absolutely is, yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's not like the whole thing is trash. It's not like this was some amateur that did this. It was just whoever did this, I don't think had ever seen Dwayne Wade in their life. Like, maybe they played NBA 2K14 or something, and they just looked at the graphics and said, oh, so that's what Dwayne Wade looks like. Amrani, his Kobe statue is pretty trash also. Oh. Well, it's not as bad, but that's not good. Is there no one else that makes big fucking statues anymore? He's just not really able to do faces very well. Like, this statue looks exhausted. This looks like the statue just played fucking 82 games. Bro, malnourished. That's true, they did make him look a little malnourished. I'm guessing there's just not a lot of people that do statues like this. He's got the market cornered. Have you seen the David Beckham one? No, how many... goddamn, how many, like, bronze statues have they made? Let's see. Is it the same studio? This is fucking awesome. What? This can't be real. This has to be edited. No way, right? No way, right? That's some Toe Jam and Earl shit right there. This was a prank James Corden did? This or this? Because these are two different ones. This one definitely has to be a prank. And I can't believe I just giggled at something James Corden might have had a hand in doing. Blast! The most infamous statue, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Yeah, that's still the most infamous for sure. By far. And that one's not a prank. At least I don't think so. It's been a while now. There's no way the Ronaldo one was a prank, right? I'm pretty sure, because they like took that down and redid it. Yeah. There's even an article about it. The Ronaldo statue sculptor Emmanuel Santos takes another shot. Yeah, so that was real. That one wasn't a prank. Defending his work, he said, "I'm not what the media made me look like." I mean, if you don't know Ronaldo and they just tell you, hey, can you make a statue, and you look up like one Google image, you're gonna get a result like this. I mean, I'd have the same problem. Statue of Walter Johnson. In 2009, a bronze statue of Walter Johnson created by Omri Amrani was installed outside Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Where's a picture? Holy. What is that? For a second here, I thought it was that pitch that hit a bird and blew it to pieces, but that wasn't Walter Johnson that threw that pitch. That was Randy Johnson, I think. Right? Is that what... Is this the bird getting obliterated by the pitch? No, it can't. Oh, I see. It's his arm moving through a pitch. I see. Now, from this angle, now it all makes sense. And then his leg is being deatomized. I guess it was, like, really hot, so it started to... I don't know, get, like, trapped to the floor somehow. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's pretty abstract. I definitely thought that was a little wiener there in this in this image. I don't know what that is. I think they just probably would have been better off not getting super wacky with it, with the after image of his arm. I also just now noticed his eyes. He looks so sad. He looks really sad. He didn't want to throw that pitch. This one's cool. Wait, no, this one's not bad at all. This one's like really pretty badass, actually. Look at this. This is probably the best one we've seen so far. That looks like a Magic the Gathering card. I also don't know who Andy Murray is. This one does look bad, though. I'm assuming the real Andy Murray is standing next to it in this picture. They made him look like one of the Queen's Guard from, like, the medieval times. He looks like Bilbo Baggins in leather armor. Who made this one? If this one turns out to be Amray again, I'm gonna fucking squeal. Why did they, like, 3x the size of his head? Artistic effect, I don't really know. They 3x'd everything on him. They set it to Wumbo. Like, look at his arms. It really does look like he's wearing samurai armor. Check out the first Witcher statue CD Projekt Red commissioned and did not use because it was so bad. Statue of Geralt commissioned by CD Projekt Red in 06. Holy. That's definitely a cursed item right there. That's some Annabelle shit. Looks like Tommy Wiseau. Kinda. A little bit. Kate Moss and Brittany are so bad. I'll check it out. Supermodel... What the fuck am I even looking at? The Golden Kate Moss statue. This looks like something you'd find in an Egyptian tomb. What the fuck is this? Cool. Very awesome statue. I don't get it. Why is she a pretzel in that statue? Maybe a contortionist or something? I don't think this is real. This, I can't tell. I don't even think I can pull it up on stream. She's got her boobies out. Why would that be the Britney Spears statue? That makes no sense. Yeah, I know you're staring at the blueberry stain on my white shirt. What's the big deal? It's called being human. What, and you're so perfect? You've never made a little whoops-a-daisy, a little accident on your shirt while eating some blueberries? What are you, the berry brigadier or something? Never spills? Wow, I'm so proud. How impressive. Just get over it, tough guy. Anyway, though, what I want to talk about today, but not in too much detail for fear of some kind of legal repercussions for talking about it, what I'd like to cover briefly, vaguely, is the Game Freak hack that just happened. Probably one of the biggest leaks I've seen since the Insomniac moment, where pretty much everything Insomniac is and has been working on came to light. Something similar, not quite to that level, just happened with Game Freak. And since I've been gnawing on Nintendo's teats for a little bit here, baring my fangs, letting them know that I'm not happy with Nintendo's recent behavior, a lot of people are wondering why I haven't been talking about this more, because I've been on Nintendo like fart on poop, and I haven't talked much about these leaks. The reason's pretty obvious. I don't mind poking the sleeping bear occasionally playing, you know, like Pokemon mods for TCG Simulator, or making fun of and insulting this company for their greed and downright nefarious evil practices. But when it comes to leaks, it's a little bit different. I've covered leaks in the past, like when Suicide Squad Bore the Justice League Kill the Franchise came out. There were some leaks before it where it showed like UI as well as a little bit of gameplay. And I talked about that on stream and even had like a little clip in a video. Both those pieces of content got blasted. So I had to redo the video and take down that stream to get rid of that stuff. It wasn't a strike or anything, they just got taken down. They got blocked. So it is something that is taken seriously, and that was for Suicide Squad. That doesn't hold nearly the same amount of water that Pokemon does. And Nintendo is litigious and petty, and they are always out for blood, just hunting for any excuse to fuck someone in the face. It doesn't matter, like how tiny or trivial something may appear, Nintendo will go hog wild with it. They would probably go perform a vasectomy on a man if they found out he posted deviant art that was unflattering of Princess Peach, just out of spite. They protect their IP with an iron fist, and they have no qualms about doing some dirty deeds to keep it under their paws. So a breach like this, a hack, a leak like this, is a huge deal and something they're taking very seriously. And I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about or show from this, because I don't know how vengeful Nintendo will be. So I'm going to try and tiptoe around like specifics and instead just talk about the basics, because it's huge. Not only did they get all kinds of like top secret projects that are being worked on and code names, they got real names of employees and tons of information about the actual people that work there. It is a huge breach. And the biggest thing that's spinning from this that I'm sure a lot of people have heard of now is there was some lore, which is a term I'm using very loosey-goosey for this, lore around some Pokemon they found. And the biggest one that had people raising an eyebrow wondering what kind of fishy business is going on at Nintendo for this was around Typhlosion. There were other stories with other Pokemon that not even Tumblr's weirdest fanfic writers would have ever even thought of, because they're just so fucking odd. Like, a couple of them revolved around Pokemon impregnating humans. I don't understand what they thought they were cooking with that. That shit is foul. Like, not even deviant art would have made something to that level. Like, in one of them I was reading, I don't want to get into specifics because I don't know how Nintendo's going to respond to this whole thing, but in one of them, a girl gets pregnant from a Pokemon. The Pokemon ends up getting stabbed by her friends and thrown into a lake, and then she throws herself into the lake, and as a result, her friends and everyone starts treating that Pokemon better. They stop stabbing and killing that Pokemon. But like, why are these Pokemon impregnating humans? So the Typhlosion one is probably the weirdest one. Like, that's why this one has become like the breakout of all of these, because it is peculiar. I've just gotta take you through this story though, at least the basics of it. So it begins with this, verbatim. A long time ago, when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was unclear. What do you mean? How was there ever an unclear boundary between human and Pokemon? You can see where this is going, and it's fucking weird. Like, how was there ever any uncertainty? I know it became a big meme online with smash or pass Pokemon shit, but you have to keep in mind this is the official Nintendo stamp of approval as something they were almost going to use as an idea. Like, in the leaks, there's a bunch of concept art and shit that never got actually used, and this is one of those components where this was something they were ideating on. This idea that there was a period in time where humans were fucking Pokemon. That is baffling. Anyway, though, the rest of the Typhlosion story goes that Typhlosion was a shapeshifter, it kidnapped a girl, kept going out to get berries, they'd eat berries and fall asleep together, and eventually they had a child together. And one of the quotes is, "Your father's looking for you, but you are my wife, I will have to fight him." So the Typhlosions gaslit this girl into staying with him and having a child together, and then the girl's like, "Don't kill my father. If you kill my father, how could I stay with you? You're a good person, don't kill him." Eventually Typhlosion's like, "Okay." And then the girl's like, "You need to let yourself be killed by my father." And he's like, "Okay, goodbye," and dies. He gets killed by the father. And the half Pokemon, half human child that the girl carries from the Typhlosion is subject to ridicule and disgust from the village that she's from. Eventually, after being teased for so long, her and the child vanish into the forest, and the story concludes with, "And so people came to understand that Typhlosions are half human beings." Wow. That's one of those moments where the fucking Twilight Zone theme plays right there at the end, or like the Saw theme right at the end with the crazy twist moment. It is bizarre. And that's only like the smallest piece of these leaks. That's just the one that I know a lot of people have latched onto because of how weird and wacky it is, but the leaks are huge. The amount of information that they got from Game Freak through this hack is crazy. I have no doubt whoever instigated this, whoever actually like orchestrated this hack, will be found dead soon. Nintendo will not leave them breathing. Nintendo, of course, is very litigious, like I mentioned, but in a case like this, I feel like they are going to go the extra mile and actually execute this person publicly. They will probably put this person and broadcast it on every platform. They have a fucking special Pokemon Unite season event for it where they kill the hacker. Like, they are probably so mad and trying to explore the most extreme options to get this person. I am super curious to see how the rest of this plays out, because it is a big leak. I haven't talked about the big stuff, but if you've read up on the leak, you've already seen some of it. So, you know, I did want to at least speak on it a little bit. I'd love to be able to talk more on it, but I don't want to get in trouble with Nintendo, because I think they're probably fuming right now, and they might just start lashing out at anybody even loosely covering the leaks. So, that's really about it. See ya. I've been more into lawsuits than Saul Goodman recently. I've become such a huge lawsuit enthusiast over the last, like, 6 or so months. Not me, like, issuing lawsuits, I've still never done that. Though, with all the stories I've read, that could be a very interesting branch of content, just frivolously filing lawsuits to see how it goes, I guess. Because apparently no one ever gets punished for doing that. Best example is the classic, silly Billy Mitchell, the video game player of the century, who files a new lawsuit anytime someone makes a joke about him being a cheater. And I'm not using the word allegedly, Billy. You are a scumbag cheater, and I hope you lose all of your ongoing lawsuits, brother. But anyway, enough bravado here and lat spreading on Billy Mitchell, celebrating every single L that he keeps taking, and will most likely continue to keep taking. Let's focus on what I want to talk about. I have really enjoyed diving into the most outrageous, most unhinged lawsuits imaginable. And last night, I found the magnum opus. This is the craziest lawsuit I've ever even been made aware of. There was a lawsuit I covered a couple years ago where there was a Twitch viewer who was suing Twitch because they were showing him female streamers and he couldn't stop jerking off, so he was suing for like millions of dollars worth of damages, claiming like it's immoral that Twitch would have these, you know, female streamers doing suggestive things and it forces him to masturbate or whatever. And that, to me, for a while, was probably one of the most entertainingly awful lawsuits I'd read about. But what I read last night actually beats it. A man in Australia filed a lawsuit against a hospital for $1 billion Australian dollars, which converts to about 643 million freedom bucks. And the reason he was suing this hospital is because he watched his wife give birth. He believed that what he had witnessed there was basically a war crime, like a violation of his human rights and a complete failure on that hospital's duty of care to him to make sure that he didn't see that. He was upset because the hospital not only allowed him to watch his wife's birth via C-section, but also encouraged it. Which to me doesn't sound like anything weird from the hospital. I mean, they call it the miracle of childbirth for a reason. Plus, if he wasn't allowed to watch it, I feel like that would be a huge problem. Being denied access to your wife during, like, the most important moment of your relationship, I imagine would actually be grounds for a lawsuit. Most people, I would imagine, would want to be there with their partner to you know, comfort and, you know, be able to take part in the gift of life, I guess. But this guy believed that they should have, like, shielded his eyes and plugged his ears or something, and the fact that they didn't caused him psychotic illness. And he believes he's entitled to at least $1 billion Australian dollars in damages. Did you hear about the man suing a hospital for $642 million after watching his wife's C-section and said it gave him a psychotic illness? You've got my attention. You undersold this. He's actually suing the hospital for $643 million. Man tries to sue a hospital for $643 million after he was encouraged to watch his wife's C-section. A man in Australia accused a hospital in Melbourne of causing him to develop a psychotic illness after he watched his wife undergo a cesarean section. Interesting. 643 million clams. Anil Coppola tried to sue the Royal Women's Hospital for letting him watch his wife's birth via C-section in 2018. He unsuccessfully sought $1 billion Australian dollars, which is 643 million. A judgment on the lawsuit filed in the Supreme Court of Victoria in Melbourne last week shows. How could this have not worked? What went wrong? Mr. Copula's wife that day had a healthy baby delivered by cesarean section. Mr. Copula alleges that he was encouraged or permitted to observe the delivery, that in the course of doing so he saw his wife's internal organs and blood, and that the experience caused the onset of a psychotic illness. He says the hospital breached the duty of care it owed to him and is liable to pay him damages. The hospital admits that it owed to him a duty of care, but denied that it breached it and does not accept that he suffered any injury. In his amended statement of the claim on October 22nd, Mr. Copula, who is self-represented, that sounds about right. That tracks. Assessed his damages for psychological injury at $1 billion. Isn't this so cringe? The human body is so cringe that C-sections are pretty common because we're not developed enough, we haven't evolved enough to make birthing efficient. So oftentimes they have to deliver the baby through the stomach. Evolution just is... It's got to catch up. We've got to redefine the meta. Birthing should be like the most efficient thing humans are good at. It's like the whole purpose of being an organism. To reproduce. I was just talking to my mom about that. That is an interesting conversation to have with your mom, but yeah, it is a fascinating anomaly why we haven't evolved to be better at it. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 32.1% of all baby deliveries in the U.S. in 2021 were cesarean section. Wow. Copula filed the lawsuit several years after the operation, saying it caused the onset of a psychotic illness that led to a breakdown of his marriage. Yeah, that was the reason. The reason me and my wife broke up is because I had to watch her get a C-section and I've never been the same. I couldn't look at her the same way. She grossed me out. It was so fucking yucky. I hated her for it. And I hated the hospital for making me see her like that. I've seen her inside and out. Yeah, stared into the abyss. Copula chose to represent himself in court, where Justice James Gorton dismissed the suit and deemed the claim an abuse of process. I would agree with that. Did he give him like a big speech like, listen, goofball, this is ridiculous. Go home. Get out of my court. If men could birth, would you rather birth an NFL football out of your brown eye or a U.S. quarter out of your one eye? What a philosophical inquiry. I don't know. If I could, if I had to give birth right now and I got to choose, I'd probably try and do it like Majin Buu. So I'd like vomit up the creature. I'd really rather not tear my whole ass out or anything like that. That's Piccolo. No, Majin Buu did that too, right? When he vomited out into Super Buu? Or am I misremembering? The trial proceedings included a medical examination of Copula, with the panel concluding the degree of psychiatric impairment did not satisfy the threshold level, according to the judgment. Lawsuits that are seeking damage for non-economic losses, such as this one, require that an injury is significant, the judgment said. With regards to the medical panel's conclusion, Copula said he disagreed with it, though the judgment said he was unable to agitate the correctness of it. I can't believe he didn't get $1 billion out of this, because he watched his wife's C-section, and then they got a divorce 3 years later. I want to see if this was televised. I'd love to see how he defended himself. Unfortunately, no footage exists of how this panned out, but man, I would really like to hear some of his arguments. No, listen, Your Honor, you don't understand. A baby came out from her tummy. I can't sleep anymore. I can't even look at her anymore. It's why our marriage fell apart, damn it. It's the hospital's fault for letting me see such a thing. I also love the confidence and delusion to ask for $1 billion from this. Our marriage was so good, Your Honor, you don't understand. It was worth at least $1 billion in order to make up for all of this hardship. I can't believe this. How could they be so cruel to let me see my child being born? No, damn you. Now, obviously, I think this is one of those cases where someone knows that it's ridiculous, but they try anyway and hope to settle out of court. So they go for like this alarmingly huge number and then try and like negotiate behind closed doors to just squash it. But with something this outlandish, that was never even in the cards. This is such a bogus baloney claim that it never even made it anywhere and never stood a chance either. I think there is a 0% chance that this guy is permanently scarred for life after watching his wife give birth. Like, I understand C-sections are a little scary. Like, I know what they are. Now, granted, I've never seen one in person, so maybe it's different in the Thunderdome. Maybe I'd see it and also just have a full-blown breakdown, my universe crumbles around me, and it fucks me up for life. But even in that case, I still don't think I'd ever win a case for $1 billion because of that. I think that's a hard sell right there. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this one a little bit because this one had me giggling. This is probably this has to be among the largest asks for a lawsuit based on legitimately nothing. So yeah, just wanted to talk about this a bit. That's it. So yeah.